some more ridiculous stuff now. At the Paris 2024 Olympics, there was a boxing match between someone called Imani Salik. Sorry, I'm very bad with names. And an Italian boxer who also had a name. Okay, so this Italian boxer, she received 2 punches to the head from Imani, and then she went over to the corner. After previously going over to the corner to get her head thingy tightened, she went over to the corner after 46 seconds and just forfeited the match. Quite random, she just forfeited it. 2 punches, she didn't have any sort of, she didn't seem injured, whatever. She was still fully cogent, still fully conscious, still able to intelligently defend herself, didn't look tired, not even really sweating, because it was 46 seconds and she'd been hit twice. It wasn't even a big shot, it was just, she wasn't concussed, you could tell it was not a big connecting shot. And you think, what happened there? And I put that at the start because I want to frame it right, because also Imane has a developmental sexual disorder. I think that's what that stands for, DSD, where she actually has, okay, this is reported, it's not confirmed, but it's thought that she has XY chromosomes. You might be thinking, oh well, that's strange. I thought only men, only at least people assigned male at birth had XY chromosomes. And actually, in very, very rare cases, someone can actually be of the female sex in terms of, they have a fully functioning female reproductive system. They grow up, assigned female at birth. They live their lives as a woman. No indication that they're not. But then it turns out that some of them find out that they've got XY chromosomes. Now here's the thing, it becomes a bit complicated, because if you've got someone who, in very rare cases, but not rare enough for it to not come up, but I think it's 1 in every 10,000 or something, if you've got these people who literally don't have XY chromosomes, which are used the vast majority of the time to determine someone's sex, but in every other sense, in like every practical sense, they also have the female sex, how do you decide that? And at that point, whatever decision you make, it'll be contextual. It will just have to depend on the situation. But the thing is, whatever decision you make there, you will have to sort of recognise that it's quite complex, which is something that the right wing has been unable to do. Because as you may have told, even if you haven't heard about this, me prefacing this much, there's been controversy. Because conservatives don't know anything, they don't listen to anything, and they're just a bit stupid. They've been assuming that she's transgender. She's not a transgender woman. If she was transgender, I wouldn't say she was a man. But they've been saying that she's a man, but they mean that she's transgender. But like, she's not even transgender. It's not just that transgender women aren't men. She's not even transgender. She has a specific condition that affects women that, by all medical bodies and all official bodies, are still known to be of the female sex. That's never been controversial. Well, not never, but it's not really a controversial thing. They are known officially and have been for some time as the female sex. But because they didn't know that personally, and their very simple worldview of sex has been threatened, because the thing is, first they got pissed off when people started saying gender was quite complex and saying gender is a separate concept to sex, and a lot of them still refuse to accept that. But now they're even finding out, and what a lot of people have known for decades, that even sex, if you're really getting nitpicky with it, which you will in the Olympics, where you've got thousands and thousands of people competing, you need to factor in stuff like that. When you look on a big scale, even with sex, it's not strictly absolutely binary. There are distinctions. It's not just one condition or this specific one she's had. There are a few different conditions, which makes you go, even on a physical level, looking at the biology, it makes you go, oh, where would they fall there? Like, how do we decide which attribute is the most important? Is it a combination? Do we just pick one? Do we just pick chromosomes? Do we pick whether they have a female reproductive system? What if you've got someone who is XX, and they don't just, it basically just a regular woman, you would consider a woman in every sort of context, but she doesn't have any sort of fully formed, female reproductive stuff. Would you say she's suddenly not a woman because she's got a bit of a disfigurement? even though in every other sense, chromosomes, whatever, you'd say that she is a woman. Would you say that she isn't because she's got something wrong with her? I mean, conversely, like in this situation, if you've got someone who for all her life has been known as a woman, fully, you know, got all the female stuff, you know, structure and all that, obviously it makes her more masculine. Like the condition can make you exhibit more masculine features, but in general, you know, you can tell when you look at her, like even instinctively you can tell, like she's a woman, she's a masculine woman, but she is a woman. And like even on the intuitive thing that the conservatives like to do, but now they're sort of switching and saying, yeah, like it's kind of frazzling their minds, the idea that these things are at least a little bit complex. They love it when things are really, really simple. They can categorize black and white in their mind. They can decide who they need to hate and who they don't need to hate. But the fact that not only gender is complex, but now a lot of conservatives find out that sex is quite complex, it's just frazzling their minds, which is quite funny. But yeah, I feel sorry for Imane. And I did want to say a little bit about the Italian boxer. She's been left out of this a lot, which I get the sentiment. I think that's a good sentiment. Normally, when people are just doing their thing and they get caught up in these situations, leave them out of it. But I don't think that's appropriate in this situation. Let me explain what I mean. Now, the thing is, I do actually find it a little bit suspicious how insanely early she dropped out of the match. The thing is, yeah, okay, to like a normal person, if there's an average person in there, like, yeah, that's understandable, but you got to think about, these are high level, high octane boxers at the Olympics. Now, I spent quite a lot of time when I was a kid in a boxing gym environment, and that's so insane to me, because just like the local people down your local boxing gym, if they were in that situation, would not have given up after 46 seconds. Man, woman, whatever. I'm just talking about proportional to how much she was getting beat. You couldn't even really say she was getting beat, because there wasn't not enough shots had been exchanged to even say she was getting beat. She wasn't even getting, like, she wasn't even actually losing, because not enough had happened for her to begin losing. But like, that's not even like that wouldn't even be seen by anyone, or by me if I was in a ring, or like by anyone if you're sparring or whatever. Like, no boxer would see that as like, oh, I'm in trouble. If you are completely, you know, still there mentally, no concussion, oh, they said she might have broken her nose, but again, okay, not me. If I fucking break my nose, I'm going down. But again, even if she did break it, because that's when we're like, we don't know that, or we're not even sure, like partially sure. But if she broke her nose, right, I swear to you, go down to your no, I'm not actually saying go down just to check this, but if you went down to your local boxing gym, half of the people there, men or women, if they thought they might have broken their nose in an actual fight that they're doing in front of people, they would not, like, before the pain hits them, because you could see the pain, she wasn't going like, ah, it wasn't like that. Like, I'd recommend you watch the fight. It's really not, like, ugly at all. When I heard about it, I expected, oh, she's gonna, like, bonk her, and she's like, ugh. But she wasn't stunned, like, nothing happened. Like, it was insane. Like, I didn't get it. Like, but maybe it, like, it's possible, because sometimes that does happen when you get delayed pain. Maybe she had like a small fracture, and like she's probably is quite tough, so she's an Olympic boxer, so she walked over, and yeah, whatever. But you can say that 50% of the people in your local gym, if they thought they broke their nose, would not have pulled out at that point until they felt like the pain, or they would have got hit once in their broken nose, and then they go, ah, fuck, because that, even if you're a fucking tough guy, that hurts like fuck. Or like the top UFC guys get really touchy if they've got like an injury about them going over it again. That's when you really need to watch, when they go back over the injury. That's unbelievable pain. But like, that is not, it's okay. As someone, again, I don't have that much experience in boxing. I'm not a boxer, but like I have a little bit of experience and like love for boxing and like fighting in general. So like, it's so mad to me, and I'm imagining an actual boxer watching that, how mad that must be to them to see how unbelievably easy she gave up. Like, that's not what a boxer's like. That's not in a boxer's mindset. That was so strange for a high-level boxer. I can't repeat this enough. A high-level boxer to do. That's not what you're like. It doesn't fucking matter Cause here's the quote that everyone's looking at. Okay, that's the hardest I've ever been punched in my life. First off, no, it fucking wasn't. You can tell the snapping and you can see the momentum. No fucking way that experienced Olympic boxer has never been hit harder than that. If she has never been hit harder than that, she has never sparred. That's the only way that's possible. That is an average sparring match. Oh, I've got you. I hit you pretty hard. Maybe it's a dodgy angle. You're hurt. But that's a regular ass hit. And she's like, well, not but regular for that level. And it's like, okay, even if that's, okay, it doesn't even matter if that's true or not. It doesn't fucking matter. If you get in a ring, you're a boxer, you're a world-class boxer, and someone boxes you in the face really hard, the hardest you've ever been hit. Keep going, you're a boxer. What boxer would not try and keep going, even attempt to keep going whatsoever, past 46 seconds and one clean, because the other one wasn't really good, one clean face punch, just instantly giving up? That's so strange to me. That doesn't seem like a boxer. That's so suspicious. So a lot of normal people are sort of looking past that. Sorry, normal people, but a lot of people are looking past that. But like, I think that actually that should be treated with a bit of suspicion. I actually think that it's a possibility that was like an intentional sort of like tantrum by the Italian boxer, because it's so I cannot make that like work in my head. Like a committed, passionate, like high level boxer doing that. What? Like, even if that is so, it doesn't matter. Okay, boxers love getting in the ring with people who punch really hard. Even when I was a fucking teenager, like, I was a bit of a fucking psycho. Like, I'd like having a fucking big guy in there, you know what I mean? You want someone who hits off. That's not how a boxer's mind works. I think that there's a realistic chance that there was a purposeful, like, maybe she knew, because Imane had previously failed a gender test. I don't know how it should have been called a sex test, so that's your first red flag. She failed a so-called gender test that was done by the International Boxing Authority or something. They all have loads of very similar names, but a Russian organized boxing agency did her chromosomes, even though it's known that that condition exists and they already have exceptions for that, and then banned her from boxing forever, from their organization at least, without any sort of meeting or any sort of committee or any sort of process. Just test, that's it, banned. And that was pretty out of nowhere. That wasn't precedent. And then the International Olympic Committee or commission or whatever actually stopped recognizing the authority of that boxing commission. So many different weird words, but yeah. So because of that, it's possible that she knew. It wasn't a big thing in the news, but she could have known beforehand that she had that condition, and maybe she thought she was a man or whatever, or she was just being a bit of a pussy, and she just kind of like did it on purpose to get the attention, and like, you just excuse herself, like, and get, I don't know, like pity or whatever. Another thing, which is a bit more charitable, which I think actually might be more likely, is that, because I've seen this happen a few times before, is she might have been injured, like slightly injured going into the match. Now, it's a really fucking hard like conundrum for a fighter, where you're going into such an important match, you want to fight, you really want to fight in this match, but you get injured, and you don't want to fucking pull out of potentially the fight of your life, because this is the Olympics. This is could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So you don't want to pull out of this amazing opportunity, but you also might fuck it up for yourself if you go in injured. And a lot of fighters, because they just can't handle it, they can't handle having to make this decision, they'll go into fights like too injured, really, like it's not sustainable. A lot of the time they'll find any opportunity to get out of there, because they kind of made a bit of a wrong, it's okay, not wrong, because it's really understandable, I empathize, but like kind of a wrong choice. So they'll be like, they'll go into the ring, they'll be like, oh, I fucked up here, I might like permanently be injured, I can't. They'll find themselves in a position where they have to stop themselves permanently being injured if they've already got an injury. Could have been her nose. She could have had a slightly fractured nose going into that fight, and she's using that to cover for it. Maybe saying that she hit, it's all coming together, I've got it, okay. What if she had a slightly broken nose And then when Imane hit her, it reopened. Oh, that's horrible. Like, reopened the breakage a little bit. And she's like, oh shit, if I don't get out of it now, if I go however many rounds it is, it's like 6 rounds for women's Olympic boxing. If I go like 6 rounds with this girl, my nose may never be the same again. I may be seriously fucked up here. And like, the amount of pain that she might have predicted she was going to be in was a lot. And again, a lot of boxers would have just not fucking cared, because you're an Olympic boxer. But that is a more sort of, you know, charitable, nice explanation for why she might have done that, aside from just she's literally like, oh, I don't like her, she's trans even though she's not trans, and then I'm just gonna try and ruin her because I know I can't win or something. A slightly nicer version of that would be, and again, it happens sometimes, a lot more common than just randomly giving up after 46 seconds, but where she might have been a bit injured and she made that hard choice to be like, I'm just gonna try anyway, like fuck it, like even though I really, if a health professional would probably tell her to not do it, but she do it. Like, that happens all the time where they have doctors where they say it's not medically good for you to fight like this, but they just fight like it anyway, and a lot of the time it comes back to bite them in the arse. And this might have been it. This might have been it biting her in the arse, and she chose to deal with it that way. And maybe she didn't realize, maybe she might not have even known that she had that condition, but maybe the Italian boxer didn't realize that it would turn into a big weird culture war thing, just this random boxing match in the Olympics. But that could have been what she did. Well, so I think at least she should be treated with suspicion. But I think people are being a little bit naive, but it's a very nice sentiment to just try and completely leave her out of it. But I do think she should be treated with a little bit of suspicion. So that's my only original sort of special takeaway. I'm just saying aside from that, I'm just saying all the regular progressive shit, because obviously it's just about a lot of conservatives being really weird and stupid. But my unique thing we'll take away is that I think people should actually treat that Italian boxer with a little bit of suspicion. It'll be interesting to see more about her, find out more about her and her beliefs as things come. So thanks for watching. If you did, try and have a good day. All right, I'll see you. Bye bye.